left that nobody can even imagine, and her real thoughts are there. You know, she's changed. They call her a flip-flopper at the highest level that they've ever seen in politics, because she's come out with policy and for years defund the police. You don't mind defunding, do you, fellas? Would you vote for a defunder? Would you vote? By the way, your people that you protect don't want defunders either. But she's been that until just recently. But she's always been for defunding the police, and the person that she's
I'm for defunding them.
Walls is equally far left. This is the most far left group. Nobody's ever seen anything like it.
Not only am I for defunding the police, so are most of the mayors in major cities in the U.S. in the United States of America. Each in particularly Houston, they pitching funds all the time, and police are always complaining. I've seen firefighters and police people on street corners with boots and they had police hats begging for money. I've seen that before in my lifetime. So it ain't just us wanting to deform them; it's everybody, because the police are out here. Police are terrible at their jobs.
And the press is giving them a free pass, and you're not going to have. If it was up to them, you wouldn't even have the men behind me, people behind me, representatives behind me. You wouldn't have them. They wouldn't have a job. They think it's going to just police itself. Everything's going to take care of itself. Her father is, as you know, a Marxist professor, and he obviously did a good job. But this is where she's coming from. And, you know, you see her now with a smile, and she's gotten rid of the laugh over the last couple of days. I don't know. I haven't seen her laugh. They've told her, don't laugh, please. But I'll bet inside she was laughing last night when she saw the way Joe Biden left, because that was a coup. That was a coup. And it started with the debate, and from that point on, it just got worse and worse. But that was a coup. It was a vicious, violent overthrow of a president of the United States.
What the hell was violent about the man saying, I ain't finna beat Trump. Let me see if I can get somebody else to beat him. What is vicious and violent? They didn't beat up Joe Biden. Beat up Joe Biden. Say, you better ain't put Joe Biden in the headlock. They ain't do no elderly abuse. You know, Joe Biden got with his peeps, and everybody called him like, Joe, we gonna lose if you stay your silly ass in this race. If you stay your silly ass in this race, we got President Trump again. And he was like, no, I'll beat him. They was like, I know you ain't. So Joe had to tap out. Joe had to tag out, bring in Kamala, excuse me. And that's what happened. This nigga say vicious and violent. Man, y'all be listening to this fool.
Comrade Kamala Harris took office. Her administration's crime statistics show she's presided over a 43% increase in violent crime. These are all government numbers.
That's bullshit.
43% increase in violent crime. I'll bet the people behind me don't have anything like that. It just gets better. It doesn't get worse.
Why you never see anybody in uniform or in a suit that's black, or they're nothing but white men? You don't see a white woman. You don't see a Hispanic. You don't see an Asian. You don't see a Latino police officer. You don't see nothing but white men. Because that's the only people that's in MAGA. It's all the people in MAGA, white men and they stupid ass wives. I think so.
Including a 58% increase in rape, 89% increase in aggravated assault, and a 56% increase in robbery. The crime in America, the fact is out of control. I watched last.
Man, where? Where is he getting these numbers from? You know, Trump will make shit up. That's it. That's how Trump rolls. Where? Anyway, let's keep going.
In amazement as they tried to pretend that everything was great, the crime was great, the border was great, there wasn't a problem at all, no inflation, no nothing. There has been a report that the job numbers over the last period of time were fraudulent, and I understand that because I know how the job numbers go, and if you want to be a bad person in high office, you can be a bad.
That sounds like he finna make some shit up.
But the numbers are going to be revised, that the job numbers were far less. Nobody's ever seen 600,000 to 1,000,000 people less, jobs less.
That's bull.
Let's see if that turns out to be true, but that's what the rumor is.
Well, that means he full of shit. See, I told you. Let's see if it turns out to be true. Yeah, that means he made that BS up. See, why would y'all deal with somebody? Anyway, let's just keep going. I'm just doing this stream because I know I'm finna hear a bunch of BS, and nobody calls it out. See, Joe Biden is not. Joe Biden ain't running for president because he didn't do what I'm doing now. Trump, this orange motherfucker's full of it. He lying his ass off. Trust me on that. If saying he ain't got no facts, then he gonna sit up here and say, "Oh, trust me, it's gonna turn out to be true." No, it ain't. The facts, the facts and the numbers and statistics prove the opposite. People, the joblessness, the job numbers are down, the economy's up. Man, matter of fact, let me check my stocks while I keep this running.
Supported by a very respected outfit group, and we'll see what happens. But that's a terrible insult to our economy, because we were seeing numbers that were okay, not great, but now we're seeing numbers that, when they're adjusted, are a disaster. But crime in America is out of control. I'm going to make it, along with the economy, inflation, strong borders, and energy dominance, my top priority. I'm including crime in America. Normally that's done locally, and we're going to give the local people a lot of help, like I did initially, but not that much. We had a lot of great numbers coming out when I was president. Now we're seeing numbers that are just absolutely horrific. The Democrats are holding their convention in Chicago in order to showcase it. And yet, as you know, on 4th of July weekend, 117 people were shot. Of the 117, 17 were killed.
Stocks are up. We're in the green. He full of shit.
This is 4th of July weekend, and 40 were shot last weekend. I don't know how many were killed, but assume a lot. And that's a war zone. That's worse than Afghanistan that we read about all the time. Speaking of Afghanistan, the worst and most embarrassing day in the history of our country, in my opinion. We left 13 dead soldiers, 47 obliterated, just obliterated. The arms, the legs, the face.
How many died when they were sent in there? How many people died when we sent into Afghanistan? We don't want to talk about them. We want to talk about the ones when they pulled out. There's people dying while we were in there. Man, this motherfucker.
And we left $85 billion worth of equipment behind for the Taliban to use as it sees fit. And they're selling a lot of it because they don't need 700,000 guns and rifles. They don't need 72,000 armor.
Are y'all talking about the police? Are y'all talking about the police? You talking about the police? Okay, because that's who you should be talking about. They don't need all that. Ain't nobody coming out. Ain't nobody coming out with an arsenal. The arsenal and the mob and the crime. The arsenal. The only people coming out with an arsenal to be criminals and crooks and to be tyrants are the police.
Vehicles. They're one of the largest sellers of military equipment in the world right now. They're selling our equipment because they said.
I know who is the largest seller of military equipment in the world. That'll be the United States of America. Yes, buddy. We have the biggest military force, and our military force is so bloated that we have a bigger military force than the next 25 countries combined. And that's China in that too. Russia too. We could cut our military force in half and still be 10 times as strong as anybody else. Are you serious?
It never happened with me. Abdul would never have done that. But they said we didn't have anybody shot after my conversations with the leader of the Taliban. 0 shot in 18 months. We had nobody lost in 18 months. He knew that he was not going to do that. I knew that.
You ain't no shit.
You look at what's happened, and it's back. We would have kept Bagram. That's the big air base, not because of Afghanistan, but because it's located 1 hour away, from where China makes its nuclear weapons. So it's
All right, Trump, I'm going to sleep, bro. I'm going to
the
sleep.
defeat of America.
This motherfucker's boring, man. Because the defeat of America. This is you boring, bro.
Was one of the ugliest scenes that I've seen on television in a long.
You know what's one of the ugliest scenes I've ever seen on television? Look at this face. This is one of the ugliest orange murder scenes that I've ever seen. Look like somebody been lying here. Look like people been using his pictures been using his face for target practice. That's what it looked like. He looks like he's talking about he gonna be ready to be 200 years old. He already looks like he's 200 years old. Ugly motherfucker.
I've seen some pretty bad ones. So have you. We're witnessing some pretty bad ones. They had a parade where the parade was.
He said he looks better. He's a nicer looking person than Kamala Harris. Ain't wrong. She ain't all that, but she got you, bro.
Plated trucks coming down a road and people cheering. Not that many people cheering, actually, but there were people cheering. But they were making us look very bad because we have a fool. A fool is a president. They lied last night about things that nobody's ever seen. They lied about soldiers at a gravesite. They lied about.
No, they didn't.
They lied about inflation. The inflation's been absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. And everyone knows that we had virtually no inflation. They had 9%, but that wasn't including some of the things that went up more than anything else.
He a goddamn lie. He had 25% inflation. Pissy, you hear this nigga? He had 25% inflation under his regime while he was president. So actually, he had a 25% inflation. He inherited a great economy from Obama. Obama inherited some BS in 2008. I don't know if you all remember that. That was the Great Recession. And then Obama got him out of that and fixed his. During that time, the country fixed itself, and with the president's help, of course, and got we were booming by 2015, 2016. And he handed him off a booming economy, bro. And Trump fucked it up. And Trump handed off COVID to Joe Biden. Now, the reason I wanted to stop this is because he's talking about inflation has halted. I know because I lost a whole lot of money betting on that inflation will continue. And in November, I lost enough money to buy a small neighborhood just because inflation halted. So I don't want to hear that BS. I lost a lot of money because the stock market, the markets went way up. I was like, oh my God. And so since then, the markets have just been going through the roof. Anyway, let's listen to this bullshit.
They gave themselves a pass. But mothers will no longer be losing their children because of weak liberal policies.
Let me see if I can hurry up.
Politicians that have given up on securing a crime-free America. We want a crime-free America. We're going to stop violent crime in the United States. And it's people like this that can do the job better than anybody. They do the job justly.
That's bullshit. What they've been doing? They've been sitting out here killing people and mess it up. They've been sitting out here killing people. Them cops been out here messing up, man. We're not getting some of the best scholars going out and policing the streets. We get some of the dumbest motherfuckers living, bro. That's who policing the streets. Half of them, and a lot of them going to jail, and at least 75% of them criminals because they don't even report the other crimes that's going on in their department because there's always one person in that department committing a crime, and since they don't report it, it's one person in their department committing crimes, and they know it, and since they don't report it, that makes them criminals too.
Fairly, but there's nobody like these people. Thank you.
Yeah, a bunch of dumbass people with some power. Nobody like him. Oh,
Doesn't
my
nobody like
bad.
them.
Donald Trump's
So
like that.
they can do it. They have to be given back their rights and their dignity. They have to be allowed to do their job. We're going to be guaranteeing immunities and where they
Yep.
occur. And I'm not looking necessarily just here. We have
So Donald Trump want to guarantee immunities for cops like Derek Chauvin who killed George Floyd. He want to make that immune so he can just say, "All right, that's all right." They could, you know. So Derek Chauvin can't. So now, what do you think with that? If that would happen, what the cops are going to start doing? This is the type of shit he want to do. That's your boy Trump.
in various areas that are pretty rough areas. If they do their job, if they're diligent in doing their job, they go after the police officer rather than the criminal. They lose their house, they lose their pension, they lose their family, they lose everything. They lose everything. And we're going to make sure that doesn't happen. Over the past 4 years, the Marxist left has waged a vicious war on law enforcement in our country. They've taken away the dignity and the spirit and the life of some of these police officers, and that's why you see it.
He talking about murderous police officers, bro. People that go in houses and kill innocent people, and talking about they getting their dignity taken away. This is what this guy wants to do. I'm telling you, this motherfucker wants. He don't like, and you know, I know he don't like black people. Now he's go. I know this for a fact. I mean, it's just the way he just moved in his life. I mean, you never see anybody black around him. So on top of that, he's trying to make sure that if a cop goes and executes or choke or put his knee on the back of neck, goes in a little 30-year-old lady's house in Springfield, Illinois, or go or beat up a little kid, a little skateboard kid in Memphis, Tennessee, to death, or put a knee on the neck of an addict in Memphis in Minneapolis, Minnesota, that they get immunity. He probably want to reward him. Give him the Presidential Medal of Freedom while you at it. Pussy ass man.
So out of control in our country. I mean, you have cities, I will say this, the top 25, almost all are run by Democrats, and they have very similar policies. It's
Man, let me slow this back down.
But you can't walk across the street to get a loaf of bread. You get shot, you get mugged, you get raped, you get whatever it may be. And you've seen it, and I've seen it. And it's time for a change. We have to bring back our cities. We have these cities that are great cities where people are afraid to live in them now. They're fleeing the cities of our country, what we would consider, what we did consider, you know.
What cities?
Like New York. When I left for Washington, New York we had a very bad mayor, de Blasio, but he wasn't there that long, and he couldn't ruin what took place. But we had a city that was so wonderful and so thriving, and just in a few short years, that changed. New York State is doing terribly. I heard the governor last night speaking so viciously and violently about me, but she doesn't speak about what they've done to destroy the state. The law enforcement has been decimated. The judges, what's gone on with the judges in New York, there's no justice. We're not getting justice in New York. And she speaks.
Yeah, I'm Donald Trump. I know you pissed off that they read you. The judges convicted your ass 32 times. That wasn't the judges, that's the jury. So you got to make sure that the jury, that was the people that convicted you for paying off porn stars, you nasty bastard. While your wife was sitting at home with a baby, pregnant with baby. She was pregnant or bearing had just been born. You was raw dogging porn stars, you nasty fucker. Come on.
Bravely about things that she shouldn't be speaking about. But you look at radical liberal Kamala Harris. She's been the ringleader for this anti-crime and the anti-police crusade. It's a real anti-police crusade. They have
Ain't nobody anti-police crusade. They just pissed off because they holding police accountable for killing people. See, police been going around willy-nilly for probably since police were invented to catch runaway slaves. That's why the police were invented. and they just been going willy nilly, trying to have immunity for going around shooting people for no reason, for sport. There's a police sport called shooting innocent people or finding a way to try to shoot somebody. Oh, she had a pot of boiling water. Man, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, he finna get some time. And Trump want to give him immunity. This puss boy, I'm about to have enough of this bitch.
I don't understand why. From a common sense, I like to say the Republican Party is now the party of common sense. Conservative, yeah, I guess conservative. It doesn't matter. It's the party of common sense. We want to have borders. We want to have strong police protection. We want a military that can protect us. We want great schools, school choice, ideally. We want to have a good life. We want to be safe. But let's review Kamala's pro-crime, anti-police record. She repeatedly endorsed defunding the police, which I said, and it's at a level that, and it never goes away. You know, when you're a defunder or when you are...
Weird. We need to defund them more. Because, I mean, you know what I'm saying? You ask me, you need to defund all them fuckers. Because you hit them in their pocket, they may start to act right. Or better yet, quit.
Politician, your first thought usually is the thought that you go with. If she ever had a chance, she would do whatever she could to defund the police, because that's where her spirit is, that's where her heart is.
Pussy ass nigga.
And we can't have a president like that. She sponsored a bill to strip police officers.
It looks like we're going to have a president like that, because you get your ass beat in the polls.
Legal protection, leaving you at the mercy of the lawless Marxist prosecutors who want to lock up police officers for sport. They lock them up, in many cases, long before they lock up the criminal. And they go after them, too, violently. They don't go after the criminals. Murderers are released 2 hours after the murder.
Where do you do that at? I bet they ain't black for sure. Where do you do that at? 2 hours after the murder? Goodness Lord. Do they come catch him after the murder? They making stuff up, man. Goddamn Trump, boy. Let's keep going.
She wants to bankrupt the police.
2 hours after the murder.
To destroy policemen in general. And they ruin your lives, your jobs, and they ruin everything you've lived for, everything you've felt that you want to make great. You want to make our country great. When I'm president of the United States, again, we will never even think about or mention the words defund the police. We'll never think about that again. It's got to be put away. It's a bad situation. It's a bad concept. The concept is so chilling and so horrible to think that what we should be thinking about is the opposite of defunding, refunding, you call it. We'll refund.
He's like, refund the police.
We want to help the police. They have a very dangerous job. And lately I see if somebody, I was with a great family a few months ago, opens the door to a car and gets shot. And they have all sorts of protection for the people in the car. You can't have your gun even close to being drawn. You don't know what's happening. A lot of the windows are dark, so you don't know who's in there. But the door opens and just gets shot. Great police officer. In many, many cases, it's a dangerous business, and we have to give them protection, and we have to give them love and respect, and that's what we're going to do. We were doing it. And
shut your ass up. Y'all were doing shit. You ain't do shit.
We'll give our law enforcement heroes the kind of protection and the resources that they so dearly deserve, and I will crack down on local Marxist DAs who refuse to enforce the law. They refuse to put murderers in jail. And you see it all over as the district attorney. Kamala Harris was one of the worst and one of the first Marxist prosecutors in America. She said that, and some people said she was the godmother of both sanctuary cities, because this was a while ago. This was when it all started. And that horrible shoplifting epidemic. She shielded illegal alien crack dealers from deportation. She fought like hell to have crack dealers not deported. She came up with the concept of $950 and below. You don't even get prosecuted. $950. So guys are walking into stores with calculators to figure out. You know that? They have calculators.
Look. They all say it's bullshit. Look, they all know it's funny. Nah, this bullshit. Look, y'all been police. Y'all ever busted a cop? Any cop ever watched this? Have y'all ever took somebody to jail and on camera you saw that they were sitting there calculating? Have you ever seen that? This how foolish this dude is. You ever seen that? Like, man, hold up, man. Oh, that's too much, man. I can't get that TV. Man, I want that TV. Ah, get out of here, man.
It up. They want to make sure they're under 950. But it didn't matter because they didn't prosecute the ones that went over either. Ignored the pleas of victims' families.
Trump lying.
Refused to seek the death penalty against, as an example, an illegal alien MS-13 gang member. These are the worst gangs in the world, who murdered an innocent man and his two sons for absolutely no reason. They said, "Why did you do it?" He said, "I felt like it. I felt like it." So when Kamala, until recently, was called a Marxist prosecutor, she didn't even disclaim the title. She sort of liked it. As the California Attorney General, she redefined child sex trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person as a nonviolent crime. All of them were redefined by her as nonviolent.
That's weird.
Harris supports abolishing cash
Really?
bail nationwide. Kamala Harris supports abolishing cash bail nationwide. Cash.
She should. It's a scam. It's a scam. And then if you ain't got no, if you don't, you could be in jail. You could be in jail for a petty offense for a year. You could be in jail for a petty offense for a year. Get sentenced to 30 days in jail, and you've done another 11 months because you couldn't post bail. That has happened in the United States of America. Versus being able to let people out on bail, get rid of cash bail, let people out on bail, so they can find a way to get to have that constitutional right to a defense. You can't mount a defense and sitting in jail. You can't.
Has been a disaster. When you abolish the no cash, don't worry about cash. You murdered somebody, don't worry about it. That was really the beginning of problems for New York, big problems for New York, but elsewhere also. But it means releasing violent criminals immediately after arrest. No money involved. Don't worry about it. Go home, enjoy yourself. Many of them disappear. You never find them again. Many of them immediately start killing again. It's just a crazy situation. She supports ending jail sentences for parole violators.
Man, he making it seem like, man, he making it seem like America. These places in America that's just this horrible.
Looters and anarchists tried to burn down Minneapolis in 2020.
They tried to take down the Capitol in January 6th.
Kamala Harris raised money for bail to bail out the arsonists and the rioters and the killers. People were killed. Many people were killed. Compare that to J6. Nobody was killed. Nobody was killed. There weren't fires set. They burned down the city. They were burning down Minneapolis. And she went out, and not only did she work a little bit with them, she worked a lot with them. She worked to get them out and to set them free. One of the criminals Kamala helped bail out of jail was Sean Michael Tillman, one of the worst, a dangerous repeat offender, had a horrible record of violence. With Kamala's help, she was set free. He was set free. He soon went on to murder a man on a train platform for no reason whatsoever in St. Paul, shooting him 6 times in the head and in the torso. No reason whatsoever. What's the reason? No reason. Just felt like it. Kamala Harris will deliver crime, chaos, destruction, and death. If she's allowed to be the president of the United States, you'll see levels of crime that you've never seen before. I will deliver law, order, safety, and peace, and I will protect those who protect us. These people protect us. These are unbelievable people. They protect us. We have to protect them. We have to give them hope because so many are leaving the forces.
Yeah, because they foul.
I'd love to work.
They foul. They know that they know what they've been doing. They know they've been out committing crimes and they don't want to go to jail, so now they leaving. Exactly. That's what they're supposed to be doing. They foul, man.
I would be joining them in 2 minutes. It looks like a nice job. They're so they look because they've handled.
You think Donald Trump will be a cop? And they sitting there grinning like he'd be one. Do you think Donald Trump really will be a cop? You got to be kidding me. If you think Donald Trump will be a cop, I got some magic beans to sell you.
Themselves and crime and everything else in a stern way, and it's probably a lot easier to do. Maybe we should switch them, move them around to different territories of your state or of our nation, and let some other guys take. Would you like that, fellas? I have a feeling.
He like that, like that, like
I don't
that.
want to embarrass it. I don't want to say any particular names of locations
Shut your ass
in
up.
the election. I can tell you, but they have it. They have it all very much under control, and that's the way it should be. So we're going to make a record investment in hiring, retention, and training of police officers. We're losing tremendous numbers of police officers. These are men and women that want to be police officers, and they just.
And crime still going down. I don't know if we're losing that many high numbers of police officers. You know, you can't believe anything Donald Trump will say. Donald Trump say. I haven't heard of all these police officers. You know, it hasn't been a big news story. Police people are leaving the force in droves. I haven't heard that story, and it'll be all over the news if it was true. It ain't. And so
They're just leaving. We're going to get you
that's bullshit.
reimbursements, and we're not going to be doing the negative, like let's pay them much less, or let's defund entirely. Let's pay them. There's a movement on now. We won't defund, but we'll pay them much less money. No.
Yeah, don't pay them nothing.
I've never.
They ain't doing nothing. They ain't doing nothing but messing up. They don't even, when they get a call, they don't even want to go out there like, oh Lord, we gotta go over here. And, you know, no, they trying to sit over there and have a bit. Half of them fat, can't even run from here can't run from stop sign to stop sign. I don't want to hear that.
Realized how dangerous a job it was. I have some papers here where if you watch the event last night, this is, by the way, my all-time favorite chart, which is because if you watched last night, you wouldn't know the border was so bad. This was right here.
Hold on, let me look at this paper.
Lowest ever. This is made by Border Patrol. That's the lowest ever we had for illegal aliens coming into our country.
I bet he made that up.
That's the lowest ever.
Remember he made up the hurricane?
Dear to my heart for another reason. This was the chart. I said, let me see it.
You ain't draw a Sharpie on it, homie?
It says a lot. And we had a couple of instances last night where things were mentioned, so I got it. Did crime rise under Trump and fall under Biden? They said it rose under Trump and they go, no, the opposite is true. Take a look at this here. It said,
where's your Sharpie, Trump?
Rise under Trump and fall under Biden. No, comma, the opposite is true. This was a...
Man, crows rose under Trump and fell under Biden. It did. And it rose. Crime goes up and down in waves, man. And they got everybody's like, oh, well, you know, we got Donald Trump in here. You know, nah, man, crime goes up and down all the time. It has an ebb and flow. It's been like that under all presidents and all regimes. And you add more police, they're like, oh, it's more police out here, or it's less police out here. The only thing that more police do is have more people sitting over in the restaurants and donut shops. That's it. It ain't out on the streets.
study group that went out and doesn't care. They do the numbers. They don't arrest people anymore. And they shouldn't arrest people for saying
Donald Trump's boring.
but they like that. They go after guys like me, but they don't go after.
It's nobody watching this but me.
It's a shame what's happened in our country.
And I'm about to turn this off my TV.
Turn it around. We're going to turn it around fast.
You boring. You're boring.
Thank you.
You ain't gonna turn nothing around nowhere.
We'll bust up and dismantle the gangs, savage criminal networks, and bloodthirsty cartels, and we will stop the fentanyl, and we'll make sure that Kamala Harris has, and all of the people that she's allowed to come across the border. Don't forget, she was the border czar, whether she wants to hear it or not. She still is. You're right. Thank you. In fact, she could do it right now. You know, they like to talk. It's all nonsense.
They like to talk.
I was opposed to it. So was everyone else. It was the weakest bill. Under that bill, millions of people would have been allowed to come in. This was a weak bill. But you didn't need a bill. I didn't have a bill. I said, close the border. And that's how we got to those numbers, the lowest ever recorded. I said, close the border. I didn't have a bill. I didn't need a bill. She doesn't need a bill. Biden doesn't know where he is. So where is he? Whatever happened to him? He got out. He got out. He's now sunbathing. He's in a beach someplace. But all he would have to do is president.
Where'd you get that orange on their face from? That's what I want to know. And where's the scar from the bullet?
They say close up the border, and it's closed. But they don't want to close the border because when they first took over, I had built hundreds of miles of wall, and I had 200 miles of wall in addition to what I said I was going to do because certain areas needed it. As we closed areas, other areas became...
You ain't build shit. He didn't build hundreds of miles of wall. No. No. That no.
Very, very strong in terms of people wanting to come through. So I bought...
And that border is thousands of miles long. Talking about, man, get out of here, man. You ain't build shit.
200 additional miles. It would have taken him about 3 weeks to erect it. We were all set to erect it. Then we had a terrible election take place. Terrible election. And everybody here knows that. And
ain't no terrible election. It was a great election. Your dumbass lost. Why was it terrible? Because you lost? You're a loser.
Realize that they don't want to do it. And they actually sold that. And that was designed to the highest specifications of, when you look at the steel, it's concrete, 5,000-pound concrete inside, and then rebar. And it also has a lot of technology, wires and things in it for high technology. It was designed to the highest specs of the Border Patrol. I want actually concrete plank. I would have done a beautiful job with precast, like you have in parking garages, long span. It's called long span precast, but they had to be able to see through. I understand that. They needed certain things that you can't do with concrete plank. So we did that, and very expensive to do because you needed all sorts. In other words, they wanted the steel, they wanted the concrete. It's all different methods of very hard.
Yeah, because you're dumbass, you can't see through it. You can't see is somebody's got a ladder on the other side, about to cross the wall. See, this is how stupid you are.
It's very hard to do it when you have different substances and then very powerful rebar inside. And what happened is, as soon as they came in, they sold it for 5 cents on the dollar. They sold this stuff for somebody made a lot of money because that steel is very valuable, but they sold all of that, hundreds of miles of stuff. You saw it stacked up for a long period of time where they stacked it up in an area because Texas wanted to use it and finish the job. We built hundreds of miles, but Texas wanted it. They would have paid for it. They didn't. They refused to sell it to Texas. They refused to sell it to Arizona.
All right.
Some of the biggest plants, and I have a
I'm getting sick of this motherfucker.
Some of the biggest in the world.
Get this ugly ass orange motherfucker off my screen.
And they're going to sell cars, produce them and sell them in this country with no tax. It's not going to happen. And I told them, I said, you better hope I don't win. Always dangerous to say these things. Maybe that's why I get shot at and other people don't. Right, John James?
Oh, he wants somebody else shot at? Get this old ass mother on my screen. Anyway, y'all want to watch that? Watch it somewhere else. I'd have had enough. I knew he was gonna be lying. So anyway, PA Texas, and I'm out.